What's good, everybody? It's your boy Everton. Today we're talking about Visible by Verizon. I've been carrying this service for the last 3 years, but I recently have been carrying over the last year not only the Visible base plan, but the Visible Plus plan. And there are some differences when it comes to how this service performs based on that, not just what's on paper. So I'm going to get into that, tell you what it's like. And I did take it into a couple of different states as well. I'm going to tell you my experience because I noticed some things. So let's go ahead and talk about it. And also, just a heads up, there's an affiliate link in the description and on the pinned comment. If you do want to check out Visible, you can click on that link and it'll take you right over there. I also have my referral code on there. So if you're going to sign up for Visible and you want to save $20 on your bill, definitely use my referral code. If you want to, you can save yourself $20. Let's go ahead and get into it. So what is Visible? It's a prepaid service that's offered by Verizon. They use Verizon's infrastructure and network. And you know what? It's one of the most simplest plans that I've ever come across. It's actually kind of boring. Makes for a boring video on YouTube, but I'm gonna try to do my best. Now, there are two plans. There's a Visible base plan, which gives you unlimited talk, text, and unlimited 5G data. They also do support 4G and lower as well. Now, the 5G data is mid-band 5G and it won't slow down no matter how much data that you actually use. So it's actually pretty cool. You also do get unlimited talk and text to Canada. You get unlimited hotspot. Now with the Visible Plus plan, you get a little bit extra perks. You get unlimited talk and text and unlimited 5G data that goes up to the ultra wideband, which will go up to the millimeter wave as well. Now you can stream about up to 720 on streaming sites, and also you have unlimited hotspot, which will also be double what you get from Visible's base plan. You also do get 2 gigabytes of international roaming data per day when in Canada and Mexico. And lastly, you do get the ability to have a smartwatch line included for the price of the plan. So I'm going to jump right into the meat of things. So with Visible Base, there is a difference within how the data works. Now with the base plan, you are subjected to deprioritization. Now personally, in my experience, the deprioritization is not that heavy-handed. Your service will slow down and you may notice some a little bit of buffering, but it will still be usable. I am really a fan of how Visible handles their deprioritization. I've had other companies that run on like different networks, and the deprioritization is a lot heavy-handed than Visible handles theirs. So I'm really a big fan of that, but once again, it can slow down. Now with the base plan, like I said, you're gonna get their mid-band. You're not going to get the millimeter wave like the Visible Plus, but at the end of the day, it's still serviceable. Now, the way that I run speed tests has not translated to how the service actually works when it comes to streaming media online and downloading like shows. So when you stream shows online or run YouTube, I'm actually capped at 480 or standard definition when it comes to the resolution. Now, that is a big deal for some people, not necessarily just the resolution, but if you're a type of person that has access to, a streaming site and you want to download episodes, it does take quite a bit long to do that. So, and also the network is fine when you're surfing the web and things like that. The network is fine. So it's not terrible. It's definitely serviceable, and the fact that you have the ability to stream up to 5 Mbps when you're on hotspot is serviceable as well. You can definitely stream videos and things like that, and to a TV, to a tablet. There's not a lot of restrictions that it comes to utilizing the data. But when you actually look at the Visible Plus plan, there is a big difference in how the data works. Now, not only do you have with the Visible Plus plan 50 gigabytes of high-speed data that will be priority, that actually kicks in when you're not on the ultra wideband. So essentially when you're on ultra wideband, which gives you up to the millimeter speeds, that's wide open. That's everybody can enjoy the speeds. But when you get off that into regular 5G and below, they'll actually carve out a lane for you to remain at the priority for 50 gigabytes, which for me is a lot. So I actually like the way that they handle that. Now, also the internet, when you have the 5G ultra wideband, it responds a lot faster, and that translates to how the phone experience is. For me personally, my device is mostly for surfing the internet, going on social media, and just access to the internet period, and that allows my phone to feel a bit faster. It just makes things a little bit more efficient. So there is a big difference with that. Also, when you're streaming videos, you can go up to 720 and it'll be flawless. Now, you can push it past that, I've noticed. Like sometimes you can get 1080 and 2K or whatever, but sometimes it does buffer. So it's kind of hit or miss with that as well. Now, one of the things that they've been doing recently, which I've noticed in my area, is that the data has improved and the availability around like bigger buildings. So I used to struggle with both, the basic plan and the Visible Plus, and I used to have issues whenever I'd walk like into my apartment complex or something like that. It's actually gotten a lot better with that now, so I'm definitely liking it. So when it comes to call quality, I always give a Visible top tier when it comes to just how crisp the call is. I mean, if you use your phone, I need it to be able to communicate with other people, so calls are always crisp. I never have any issues, no outages or things like that, knock on wood. But yeah, things are really great. Now, I did travel with the service to Florida. I live in San Antonio, Texas most of the time, but I went to Florida in Fort Lauderdale, and one thing I did notice is that the service did switch to 4G LTE a lot. I started to notice, like when it was just basically just sitting there. Now, I don't have that experience when I'm in San Antonio, Texas. It relies on mostly 5G, and you know what? To be honest with you, their 4G LTE acts better than their normal 5G sometimes, which is something that I've noticed. I didn't actually notice a lot of slowdown when I was actually, doing that. When I was actually in Fort Lauderdale, it said 4G LTE, and it would stay on there for maybe a couple minutes. Maybe it just didn't have the 5G developed in that area, but I really didn't notice any slowdown. And it actually performed, like I said, a little bit better than some of the normal 5G that I've experienced. So I'm definitely a fan of that. Also, they do have customer service, and I want to talk about that for a minute because I think that's a big deal. They don't have a direct phone number that you can call. You have to reach out to them via chat. Now, the chat, in my experience, is actually really proficient. I've had a really good experience with their chat. I've had 3 times where I've had to contact them with what I thought was going to be a complex problem that would require a phone call. Not once did I have to, get on the phone with anybody. You can escalate issues so that you can, if you can't figure it out via chat, then you can actually request a phone call for someone to talk through it. So that is something to keep on the lookout about. Now, I am a little bit more tech savvy, so I sometimes can identify a problem a little bit quicker, saying, hey, this is probably what needs to be done, but their staff is really, proficient in their job as well too. So I was really impressed with that. I thought it was going to be an issue when I first signed up, but I actually don't mind the fact that it has to be initiated through a chat. So overall, my impression is that the service is actually very boring, right? It's not something that makes a lot of waves. Like, they're just consistently good. Everything about them is super simple. It's hard to make a video about them sometimes to be controversial, but you know what? At the end of the day, there's nothing to really be controversial about. The plan is simple. It's $45 for the better performing data, in my opinion, or you can go with the budget route for the $25 and you'll get consistent serviceable data. Just know that if you're on the $25 plan, you can run a speed test, but the speed tests don't immediately match the performance that you're probably going to get. It's more of a like, hey, this is what the service has to offer, but the service feels a little bit like less tiered, in my opinion. But it is also something that I only notice whenever I put like side to side together. There is a big enough difference where you can immediately feel it, but you won't feel super degraded if you're on the basic plan. But if you're a little bit more of a power user or you want more access to data, then you definitely want to go with the Visible Plus plan. It is a big enough difference in the experience. But outside of that, I've had excellent time with it. This is that plan that I never have to worry about. If I had to get rid of every other plan that I have, because I carry a few because I do cover it on YouTube, but if I had to get rid of every other plan and just stop doing YouTube, I'd actually stick with Visible Plus. That's my recommendation. But if you want something that's budget wise, really cool, and it's really cheap, $25 a month for unlimited data that sometimes gets deprioritized but not too heavy handed and is consistent, you can definitely sign up with Visible, the base plan. But yeah, that's my experience. Until next time, guys, I'm Everton. I do videos Everton's way. Peace.